Good evening, everyone. If I may, I'd like to call this meeting to order. If you'd like to take a seat. First thing we're going to do is stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance. We hope you'll join us.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please stand. Tonight we're going to have a special invocation from the previous Secretary of Juvenile Justice, my friend, Pastor Frank Peterman.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this wonderful evening. We are delighted that we see a new day dawning, that a new sense of life and hope and destiny will be in this wonderful city, Indian Rocks Beach, where the family atmosphere is so wonderful and delightful, and that it will be a shining example for many other cities throughout this state and nation. Bless this mayor, bless this council, bless the staff. We thank you for the renovations that have taken place in this beautiful place, and look forward to the next half of the renovations that will come, we pray, in the future. We thank you now, Lord. Bless this meeting now. Ask your spirit be in the midst of it all, that you will get the glory for it all. We ask this prayer in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Deanne, would you do roll call, please?
Commissioner Hanna?
Here.
Commissioner Hooknagel?
Here.
Commissioner Palumbo?
Here.
Commissioner Robel?
Here.
Mayor Commissioner Kennedy?
Here. I'd like to remind anyone who speaks tonight that we need your name and where your address is. With that, our first agenda item is a report by the Pinellas County Sheriff's Department, if you'd like to come up here. And just because we have a lot of people here tonight, I'd like to say that at every meeting from this day on, 15 minutes before our meeting, that our sheriff is here, and anyone who would like to talk to one of our sheriffs individually will have an opportunity to do that. Okay.
Hello. First list on here is the Part 1 crimes. All your Part 1 crimes have gone down. There was a lot of the vehicle thefts from the previous month drastically have gone down. So we are patrolling the neighborhoods, keep an eye on all that, so they've gone down. For the month of February, there were 6 total arrests. Nothing major, a couple of warrant arrests. The majority of the activity for the deputies in February were traffic stops. They completed 42 house checks. There were 6 ordinance violations. There are also four total crashes for the month, and 2 of which were at Gulf Boulevard and 5th Avenue. And they looked like the majority, 2 of those were on a Friday. They were not serious crashes, though. That's basically all the activity. Like I said, everything has gone down from the previous month.
Do any of the commissioners have any questions for the sheriff tonight?
I have one quick question. The scooters,
Yes.
electric scooters, because I've noticed some of them will ride in the middle of the lane as I think they're supposed to when they're motorized, but when traffic backs up, I see a few of them jumping onto the bike lane. And I mean, I almost hit one when I was trying to turn into my street because they were just flying by on the bike lane. Is that
We're keeping an eye on that. There's electric scooters that aren't motorized.
right?
If they have pedals on them, I'm not sure if those are the ones you're seeing. They can be driven with even power. They can be driven in the bike
Right.
lane. But we are keeping an eye on it.
Are they allowed to drive on the bike lane?
Yeah, if they have pedals, they can pedal.
Okay, if there's no pedals, they can't. Okay, thank you.
No? Okay, thank you
Thank you.
very much. Before we go into our next agenda item, there are a few public servants here tonight and previous public servants that I would like to introduce. Mayor DiNicola, would you like to stand up with your lovely wife, Rainey? In case you don't know them, Mayor Dina Cola served as the mayor of Indian Rocks Beach for 12 years. And Mayor, how long were you before that? Was it 8 years as a commissioner?
10.
10, there you go, okay. Bob was my mentor. He was the first mayor I ever served under, and he taught me how to cuss, just saying. And I love him dearly. And Bob, wave to everybody so that they know you're here. And his lovely wife, Rainey, did a lot in our community. Jean Scott is here tonight. I'd like for all of you to say hello to Jean. Jean is another old school Indian Rocks Beach person. I served with her on the commission too, and involved with the library, and she's with her sweetheart Kurt tonight, so say hello to Jean, everyone. Janet Long is here tonight with her lovely husband. Janet was our county chair for the county commission, and I'm so happy she's here. She's a good friend. When we need help at the county level, she's one of the commissioners that we can call. And Janet, stand up and say hello to everybody. She was a commissioner in Seminole. She's been a representative. She is a big voice for our communities and our county, so I'm very appreciative she's here tonight. One of my very favorite policemen and chief, Anthony Holloway, is here tonight from St. Pete. I'm so happy he came down. Is Patricia Plantamera here? Patricia was a council person in Seminole for many, many years. I'm glad you're here tonight. Thank you for coming. My son Luke is here. He was taking an exam. Everybody wanted to know where he was, so he snuck in tonight. Luke, say hello. I want to have him stand with me because I have to tell you, from the minute he was a little boy, and Mayor Dina Cola can vouch, sometimes when there would be a meeting, I wouldn't have a babysitter. I would bring him in his bassinet, and the mayor would yell at me, "Don't let him say one word." And my son was as good as gold. So Luke has known the process, and I have to tell you, through the election, sometimes we would have discussions late at night, and I have to tell you, at 22, he gave me some great advice, and I really appreciate my son, and I'm so glad he got here. Did you pass your exam? Again, Frank Peterman, he was a council person in St. Pete, also he was a representative for 8 years, I believe, and then he worked under Charlie Crist. He was the head of juvenile justice, and he is my very good friend. He is like a father to my son, and I'm so glad he's here tonight. And my family is here, and Connie Beerbaum, another good friend. So everybody's here tonight, and I really appreciate all of them. Did I miss any of the public servants? Anybody? Please let me know if I did. Okay, I just wanted. Oh, and Mr. Riley is here tonight, who is the city manager in Gulfport. Say hello. That's Deanne's husband. So with that, our next agenda item is number 1B, and this is a presentation by Whit Blanton. This has to do with the West Bay Drive. Yes, and he's coming up. Whit is the executive director for Ford Pinellas. We are the representative for all the beaches, and he's wonderful. He's incredibly bright. He has helped in so many different avenues with this county. Anything that we need on the beaches he's helped me with, and I'm very appreciative of Whit. So thank you, Whit.
Well, thank you very much, and we're delighted about your election and happy to have you continue on the Fort Pinellas Board as treasurer. So thank you very much. Well, good evening, everybody. I'm Whit Blanton, the executive director of Fort Pinellas, and I wanted to give you a brief update of where we are on the West Bay Drive Complete Streets project. And I had a presentation, but I think I'm just going to talk today because it's conversational and we don't have any conclusions yet. So I'm happy to come back to you when we're ready to present some final recommendations. We initiated this project a little more than a year ago in 2016 because we knew that the Pinellas County Public Works Department was planning a resurfacing project for West Bay Drive. And that resurfacing project was essentially covering from Clearwater Largo Road all the way down to the Bel Air Causeway Bridge. And resurfacing projects come along about once every 20 to 25 years. And it's an opportunity to really look at the transportation network and what areas you may have to improve safety, accessibility, mobility as part of that, because when the resurfacing job is happening, that's $2 to $3 million that you're going to spend on that roadway, and you're going to save a lot of money if you package any other type of improvement project with the resurfacing. And when I heard that that project was coming forward, we were just beginning at Forward Pinellas to begin looking at ways to improve safety on some of our most dangerous roadways. And West Bay Drive ranks among those. We've had more than 500 crashes over a 4-year period between 2011 and 2015, most current data that we've summarized. We've had several fatalities in that period, and it's a road that for about 1.2 miles between Indian Rocks Road and Clearwater Largo Road is kind of a speed trap. It's 30 to 35 mile an hour posted speed, but it's pretty common to see traffic moving 45, 50 miles an hour on that road because it is a straight shot road. Now, it's a different story when there's a lot of beach traffic and it's spring break and it's a beautiful Sunday or a beautiful day like this and everybody's going to see the sunset in Indian Rocks Beach. So traffic does tend to slow down, and I've seen backups on West Bay Drive all the way to Clearwater Largo Road because I lived in an apartment next to the Publix right there at Indian Rocks Road for 8 months, so I'm real familiar with the roadway. But that's really the exception. Most times there's plenty of opportunity for traffic to move. The 4 lanes there carry roughly about 45,000 vehicles per day, and the counts on that roadway, the average daily traffic count is around 20,000. So there is congestion, it does happen, but for the most part there's a lot of extra capacity on that roadway. As we began looking at that, our main objective was to improve safety and to look at the connectivity of our assets in the county. And we have a relatively new Bel Air Causeway Bridge that has a great walking area, a buffered bike lane, and people park in the Panera Bread and they walk across that bridge, get their exercise. It's a real focal point in the community, especially with the boat ramp that's been built recently. So it's a destination. And then the other end of that corridor, we have the Pinellas Trail, going over Largo with the overpass. And one of the things that's challenging there is, from a bicycle standpoint, there is no connectivity between that overpass and the trail and those businesses at grade. So we approached the City of Largo, and the City of Largo is doing a trailhead project. It's in their capital improvements project, and they're going to improve access to the trail. So we thought, okay, we have these great assets, the bridge, which connects out to the beach, where we have bike facilities, bike lanes, and one of our big initiatives is enhancing beach community access. And then we have the Pinellas Trail, and in between, we've really got nothing. And most people out there are riding on the sidewalk, which is probably a comfortable place to be when traffic is going as fast as it is on Indian Rocks Beach. And the businesses aren't really benefiting from neighborhoods around there who can walk to those businesses because it's such an unsafe, uninviting roadway. It's a 4-lane divided road. So what we have is a center turn lane, sometimes called a suicide turn lane, which really does provide a barrier for safe pedestrian access, because you start crossing that road and it's a long gap between traffic signals at 14th Street, 20th Street, and then Indian Rocks Road. People will shoot across there and play a little Frogger to try and get to those businesses. So we wanted to see what could we do with the resurfacing project to make that safer. We started out the project by meeting with the businesses along the corridor. We met with the commissioners and staff in Largo and Bel Air Bluffs. And we invited other cities to participate, but mostly it was those cities that sat down with us. And they said 2 things. First, do something about the speeding on this roadway, because speeding is an issue. The Indian Rocks Road intersection is a problem. Secondly, make it safer for pedestrians and don't harm the businesses while you're doing it. In other words, don't limit the access to businesses if you're trying to make it safer. So we took all those things into consideration, and we put together 2 concept plans. One that, working within the right-of-way, without moving the curbs and just working with what we've got, we figured out a way to narrow the width of the travel lanes. They're all 12-foot lanes out there, to incorporate 2 4-foot bike lanes to connect the trail to the bike lanes that exist just west of Indian Rocks Road. So we already have bike lanes going over the bridge. And then the second alternative, which is a little more costly alternative, added a 12-foot side path, essentially widening the sidewalk on the south side and not doing the bike lanes, but also it shaved down the bike lane or the travel lanes from 12 to 11 feet. We took both of those concepts out to the cities of Bel Air Bluffs and Largo, and for the most part, people liked the 12-foot side path, but we had some pushback on the travel lanes. And we heard from PSTA operators, we heard from the school district, and we heard from some of the business owners, particularly in Bel Air Bluffs, that if you narrow the lanes to 11 or 10 feet, it's going to create a safety problem. We might have bumping mirrors on some of our larger vehicles. There is boat traffic that uses West Bay Drive with trailers. So, you know, we're sensitive to the large vehicle needs of that corridor. And we recognize that it's an important corridor for getting people to and from the beach communities, especially when Gulf to Bay backs up, as it tends to do this time of year. So given all that, when we were ready to present our findings, we got letters of support from Bel Air Bluffs and letters of support from City of Largo. And our board acted on and adopted the second recommendation, which is this 12-foot side path without the bike lanes. Because most people felt like most everybody in this room probably wouldn't use the bike lanes. And they would tend to use the side path. And I think that's a smart improvement. However, because of the concerns about the lane width reductions, when we started to move the project forward with Pinellas County, we said, let's pause for a little bit and make sure that everybody is comfortable with the engineering solutions that we're working on. So we're now handing this project off to Pinellas County, but we're going to stay involved because we made commitments to all the local governments to really make sure we've got a workable solution, that we're not harming businesses and we're improving safety and access for that corridor. So what Pinellas County has done is they've put together a scope of work, and they are getting ready to do the engineering design for the treatments, the pavement markings, the resurfacing, and all the other elements to make the roadway safer. And the strategy we're going to do is to break the corridor up into 4 different segments. Again, it's still only about a mile, 1.2 mile segment, but between the landing point of the Causeway Bridge and Indian Rocks Road, that will be one segment because there are a whole set of issues to deal with there as it transitions from 4 lanes down to 2 lanes. And then from Indian Rocks Road over to 20th Street, that's another section. And then from 20th Street over to 14th Street, and then 14th Street over to Clearwater Largo Road would be another segment. So we're going to look at maybe a little bit different strategy in each one of those. We do not have any predetermined solutions, but we are going to look at all the engineering aspects of what can you do here. And the City of Largo has committed additional funds from their community redevelopment area and mobility fees to get the more expensive option in the City of Largo. So we were encouraged. They were asking us to really think big about looking at West Bay Drive as more of a destination than as just a pass-through road. We have a lot of pass-through roads in Pinellas County, and that's really, frankly, the reason that Ulmerton Road was built as wide as it is. It's meant to be the high-speed road to the beach. Certainly Gulf to Bay is more of a high-speed movement of cars through the corridor. But I don't know about you all, but West Bay Drive just feels different. It doesn't feel like it should be as fast and as wide as Ulmerton Road or State Road 60. So for those reasons, we want to be real sensitive to the community impacts and the concerns of the community. So over the next 4 to 5 to 6 months, we will be working with each of the communities. City of Indian Rocks and staff will be invited to participate in a workshop, probably in the next 2 to 3 months, once we have some initial engineering concepts put together that build on the concepts that we developed at a planning level. And it is intended to be a roll-up-your-sleeves workshop to look at not just the concept drawings that are in your packet, but an aerial view of each segment and what this restriping and design accommodations, not just for bicycles, for pedestrians and for automobiles, will be along that stretch. So it's really just an update at this point. Pinellas County has budgeted $2 million for the resurfacing, and our estimates are, with that option that we preferred with the wide sidewalk, we're really looking at something on the order of about $4 million. So if Largo is able to contribute some funds, Pinellas County is committed to looking at grant funds or revisiting their budget, if that's the preferred strategy. And we'll have to see if Bel Air Bluffs would like to contribute to the ultimate solution. We hope they buy in enough to where they feel like that's something that they would be willing to support. But I want to say one thing, because I've heard a lot from various residents, have a meeting next week with the Sandkey Civic Association that we're going to destroy traffic and we're going to create congestion and we're going to create problems. We have a lot of 10 and 11-foot lanes throughout Pinellas County, many of them leading to boat ramps. I live on Bayshore Boulevard over in the Safety Harbor area, and that's a 10-foot road, and I see SUVs that are big pulling boat trailers all the time on that roadway, and we do not have a safety problem on that roadway. We do have safety problems on roads that are narrow at 10-foot or 11-foot lanes where it's a straight shot and there are no traffic signals and people speed and they drive 40 or 50 miles an hour. All we're really trying to do is, when it's not peak congestion and people are kind of stopped anyway, is just get traffic to move closer to the speed limit. And it's 30 miles an hour at Indian Rocks Road, and it's 35 as you go a little further east. And I'd rather have traffic generally moving at 30 to 35, maybe 40 miles an hour, than 45, 50, maybe 55 miles an hour. And that's really what we were intending to do. Some of the ways we're intending to do that, we're including the narrower traffic lanes, because if your travel lanes are down from 12 to 11 feet, you feel a little more side friction, and you tend to drive a little slower. The other thing that would help that would be, in a couple of locations, 3 or 4 locations along West Bay Drive, we would put in mid-block crossing areas with perhaps some landscaping. And that would prevent people using that center turn lane to pass traffic, which is done quite often. And it would create a little more of a sense of enclosure so that people aren't speeding down that roadway. And that's a pretty tried and true technique. There's not one silver bullet to get traffic speeds to behave, but 2 or 3 things like that in combination can work really well. And again, this is not going to have an effect on 5 o'clock peak hour traffic because it's moving fairly slow anyway, or peak beach hour traffic. It's really during the 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock in the middle of the day kind of time when people are flying through that corridor a little faster than they should. So we're very sensitive to the concerns of the beaches communities, to the communities along that roadway, that we're not doing any harm. And we take a little Hippocratic oath with transportation. First, do no harm, but let's see if with the resurfacing project we can make it a safer, more livable roadway and really support economic revitalization of that corridor. And we have some great businesses in Bel Air Bluffs and Indian Rocks Road, and it's a real gem of a destination in Pinellas County, as are the beaches. I would like to see the rest of that corridor transformed to where you're connecting Largo's Medical Arts District, their redevelopment area, with the Indian Rocks Road intersection, and that section in between is brought up to the same level. And I think you'll create a real destination, and that'll really add to the economic opportunity and economic development of this area. So again, that's really our twin goals, is to improve economic development and improve safety in this corridor. And I'd be happy to try and answer any questions. And since I'm here, if there are other issues that you know about, then I can certainly try and answer those as well if there are other issues you're interested in.
There was an article, March 21st. Do you want to comment on that at all? Just because in the article, we made sure that the commission received it today. It says that we're going to wait a little longer. Do you want to make a comment on that?
Well, I think that's what I've really talked about, is we're waiting. We're not advancing any particular plan right now until we can work with the cities to come up with a solution that everybody supports. And Bel Air Bluffs has been pretty clear to us that they want to see the lane widths remain as they are today. So we are certainly going to look at that option and see what we can do with that. But we may also be looking at 11-foot travel lanes. And I think shaving it down 1 foot can really have more benefit than downside. But we'll wait and see and find out what people are willing to support.
I'm just going to go to public comment. We had a lot of public comment at the last meeting, and if there is new information, then if anyone would like to get up and speak, we'll allow it for 3 minutes, and we'll take your name, and if Whit, we can leave Whit's name too to talk to you at another time and more in depth, if that would be okay with Whit.
Sure, and I'll stick around to listen to the public
Okay.
as well. Thank you.
Is there any public comment on this? Please state your name and your address.
My name is Patty Money. I live at 309 Bahia Vista Drive in Rocks Beach, Florida. I'm not here to comment on what the gentleman just spoke about. My comment is, It came to my mind because I have some friends in the city recently who come into the city. The past couple of years, they spend 3 months in this city in the wintertime. They spend all their time here. They love the water. They rent a house down here that has a boat dock on it. And
Patty, wait a minute. We're only asking for public comment at this moment, just on his, but we will have public comment when we're done, okay? We're just asking for public comment on Witt's presentation for West Bay Drive.
John Fansfield, 448 Harbor Drive South. There's just so much that's been said here that is utter foolishness. I mean, talking about cutting West Bay possibly by 50% somehow is going to help the businesses in that area. Creating traffic jams around that area is going to help the businesses. This is so absurd. This is not forward Pinellas, this is backwards Pinellas. I don't know what you're trying to do, trying to justify your job or something, but this is absurd. How many people here think that this is
Folks,
absurd?
sir, you can address your comments to the body, and if we could please remain civil in our comments.
Was that not civil?
Just a pleasant reminder.
Anyways, we have 3 main east-west corridors that affect us, obviously. Gulf to Bay, West Bay, and Almerton. You start choking down West Bay, then obviously people are going to be starting going to Almerton and then coming up our main street, basically, to get to their homes. So even though this was not presented to us until Ed invited the gentleman to come over, this is something that's really going to affect Indian Rocks Beach. So I hope you take that into consideration and put together a unanimous decision that you don't want any part of this. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Wanda Bushinowski, 450 Harbor Drive South, Indian Rock Beach. A gentleman said that he got a lot of letters from Bel Air Bluffs as a support. I live in Bel Air Bluffs. I was at the meeting. Nobody at the meeting supported your plan. Nobody. Okay? The comment also was that you compare us to the safety harbor, that the boats go there. Yes. But it's
And
not
folks,
the main.
as we
You
give
have to talk
public
to
comment,
us.
Okay.
please direct your comments
Okay.
to the body. Thank you.
Sorry. I wonder if was any study done about the speed on the road, because I never ever see anybody going over 45 there. Traffic is horrendous on that street. Okay? If we travel 30 miles per hour, we're lucky. We're extremely lucky. Very many times we just stand still. Okay? And we are not comfortable with the idea whatsoever. We're talking about evacuation road, which is from Indian Rocks Beach, from all the beaches, Sand Key and other beaches. When you're going narrower the road, how are we going to go? What we're going to take 3 hours to go to the bridge and then 3 hours to pass the bridge? How you expect us to go there? How about emergency vehicles? They're big, 10 and 11 feet road. It's not big enough for emergency vehicles which have to zoom through. They cannot go 30 miles per hour and try to squeeze in between the other cars or bicycles or whatever. This is my comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Arlene Kavanaugh, I actually live in Bel Air Bluffs, 361 Barker Road, but my mom also has a home here at 450 Harbor Drive South, the one that just spoke, so I stay here also frequently. Just to reiterate, also I'd like to comment and share my feelings that there is no speeding that I've witnessed going over. I've lived here my whole life and I have not seen speeding on West Bay. That's my opinion. I also spoke to the sheriffs and they said they have it under control and they haven't had any complaints about that. And also the sheriffs to me made the comment in his quotes that whenever you constrict traffic, it is a nightmare for emergency vehicles. He said it's never good. Those were his words. This will increase traffic congestion. I don't agree with the plan. Let's see. Also, like I said, I've lived here a long time. I've witnessed the Walsingham Bridge get stuck or broken where it couldn't close. So we need to make sure that West Bay is accessible at all costs. Also, I don't know what studies he's done, but what about accidents? Because this will push traffic into private roadways where it's residential. So what studies have done, it maybe doesn't concern you, but I just want to mention this. It's going to push traffic into private roadways, so that can cause accidents. And I didn't hear him make a study on that. The trees next to the road, as he calls this landscaping. It's unfortunate he didn't show the presentation because then everybody could see a view that's online, but then you can really get a good, because a picture's worth 1,000 words. You can see where the road would be narrow and you could see the trees on each side. Well, when you have an RV or a trailer or a big vehicle with a soft roof, you have to avoid those trees. Who's going to trim them? So I see on the West Bay a lot, they drive down the center, which is very dangerous. So who's going to trim them? Largo's not taking care of their own trees. We just had a storm that went through recently. The lights still are not put back on our bridge, on the Bel Air Causeway. So, and how many months has that been? So if he's talking about putting up trees and what he says landscaping, who's going to manage that? Because right now, the county is not managing simple things in a small storm. God forbid there's a bigger storm, and what kind of chaos will that cause? This is a boating community. Also, what are we doing to look into the future? So I'd like to ask you to, when this plan goes into effect, please consider this. Florida, everybody's moving down to Florida. Our population is increasing. Condos are being built. How is that going to accommodate in the future? Not just today, but 10, 20 years from now. Because you see how much traffic is on West Bay and what Largo did with that.
Okay, thank you.
That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who'd like to comment on this agenda item?
Good evening. My name is Kelly Sisak. I live at 440 Harbor Drive South. I did want to make a couple extra points about the proposed plans. The extra carrying capacity of this road, I don't really view there being extra carrying capacity currently, but if, in fact, you know, the standards that were compared think that this is extra capacity, I would say that that won't be extra for long, and that reducing carrying capacity of a road is not going to be ultimately good for businesses because there's fewer people that are going to want to use that road. I do think that some pedestrian islands would be a good idea to increase safety on that road, and I do want to say something very personal about extension mirrors because I drive a motorhome that is about 118 inches wide with its mirrors, and I did have a collision one time with a school bus that had an extension mirror. This was on a 2-lane road, and you know, it was posted as being wide enough for my vehicle, but with the extension mirror on a school bus, I did hit mirror to mirror, and that was a scary experience, and I wouldn't want anybody else to have to go through that. And we have a lot of boat trailers, a lot of trucks that tow boat trailers, and those trucks have extension mirrors, school buses have extension mirrors, and I think, you know, safety needs to come first, and I wouldn't want to see those lanes narrowed. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. Is there anyone else who would like to talk on the West Bay?
Hi, I'm Laurie Deer. I live at 407 Harbor Drive South. And I didn't expect to talk tonight. I was just coming to work now. But I have to be the other side. I'm a bicyclist, so please consider something on West Bay. Yes, maybe we don't want to narrow the lanes too much, but we do want safety, and we do want everybody to be safe. So when I'm biking and I want to go to Panera, or I want to go to Publix, or even a little further, I would like to be safe too. And so, yes, thinking forward 20 years, there's a lot more people bicycling now than there ever was. And because traffic is getting so heavy, we would like people to maybe use alternative routes. And maybe, hey, there's a golf cart thing, maybe there'll be golf carts, I don't know. But let's consider other things instead of just saying, this is a horrible idea, throw it out completely. We do have to think to the future. And maybe we won't have cars forever. Maybe they'll be smaller. I don't know, but we can't say, don't do anything now when we know something has to be done. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? Do any of the commissioners, Ed, would you like to make a comment?
First of all, I wanted to thank.
Well, you got it.
Sorry.
Hey, I just wanted to say, it sounds like a bad idea, but I am R.B. Clemmer of 1216 Bayport Boulevard. And yeah, it does sound like a bad idea, because just recently, this weekend, the bridge malfunctioned. Did anybody notice that? When the bridge was malfunctioning and the traffic was backed all the way up. Well, it seems like, long-time beach resident out here, it's easier to go north than go south now. Maybe that was because of the Indian Rocks Beach intersection development, but it is quicker to leave the beach by going north across Bel Air. And, you're just going to make traffic even worse. But it's okay, we're a growing community here, and sometimes we're going to do things. But hey, the main thing I'm here for tonight is the new start for Indian Rocks Beach and the new mayor and commissioners. Nick, I'm glad you won a popular vote. Good to see you again, Ed. Good to see you, Joan.
Thank you.
Hey.
Okay, Ed?
Sure. I wanted to thank Whit. I invited you on behalf of the commission after our last meeting. We did see a copy of the presentation. I agree that some part of the multimodal path is really important for that street. If there's any way that thinking can be pushed at the county, I think that'll be helpful. Hopefully that won't come at the expense of the lane widths, but I'll let the engineers figure that one out. But thank you for the work that you guys did. I think pedestrian and bike safety is a worthwhile undertaking. And even in our intersection at Walsingham, being very personally familiar with that intersection, we see hundreds more pedestrians coming through that intersection every day than we ever saw before. So it will make an impact. Thank you for coming, and thank you for hearing our public comments, and look forward to as it progresses in the future. Thank you.
Phil?
Thank you, first of all, thank you for coming. And I'm just, if I may ask, is this concept to me seems like what is right now in between 113th and Clearwater, Largo Road, and Seminole in Missouri. Is that the kind of concept you're looking at going forward?
It might be a little similar, but we're going to wait and see as we work through the engineering details of that. I don't want to speculate too much.
Right.
We put two concepts out there. That's at a planning level. Now we're moving into the engineering phase, and it's going to be a lot more detailed.
Because just, looking at what was presented here and experience driving that area, and once you get to that part of it, really seems to back up with traffic in that. I do love the wide bicycles, walkway paths on the south side of there. And I agree with everybody, being a bicycler myself, we need more, safety bike paths. But I'm just looking at it because that'll get backed up from Missouri to where it goes to 3 lanes quite often, very quickly. And now with everybody that lives anywhere from East Bay, West Bay, north up the island is all coming down here. People that even live in Clearwater Beach are using East Bay, West Bay to get there because they don't want to go through the cluster that is getting on Clearwater Beach. So slowing traffic down, I can see making it safer for a lot of people and business owners wanting it. But then if you also look next time you go in between Clearwater, Largo Road and Seminole Boulevard, Missouri, look at all the vacant businesses. So.
Well, that is all redevelopment, so there.
Well, yeah, I understand, and they redeveloped it 10 years ago, and a lot of those little businesses in that new area are still vacant. So, but that's I understand where you're trying to go with it, but I just think it needs a lot more.
Yeah, and I just want to
Slow
really
down, slow down traffic or impede, getting through.
Right, and I want to clarify something, because anytime you talk about slowing down traffic, I mean, that does send alarm bells off. We are not cutting capacity of the roadway. An engineer and a planner will tell you that the difference between 11 and a 12-foot lane, there's no difference in traffic capacity, and we're not proposing removing a lane or reducing a lane or anything like that. It will still be 4 lanes.
Right.
And it's just a question of how wide those lanes are going to be, and how do you accommodate the needs of all users accessing the beach. And that's really the debate we're having right now, but not to eliminate a lane or reduce capacity of the roadway. It'll still carry 40,000 vehicles a day.
I understand that, but I'm saying so is, the concept in between Clearwater Largo there is that kind of concept has slowed down traffic, and that backs up a lot more than any other part. So,
understood.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming, appreciate it. Can you address traffic calming? Is that part of what you're talking about? Is this a way of calming traffic speeds down a little bit? Is that the goal?
That's essentially what we're talking about, is calming the traffic and managing the traffic speeds in that corridor, again, without sacrificing effective capacity of the roadway.
Thank you.
Nick?
Yeah, the one thing, and I agree with all the comments so far, the one thing I didn't see addressed in the plan was when you get to Bonefish and that area where we have the turn lane and the white pillars there, was there any plans to address that issue?
That's a big headache for the city of Bel Air Bluffs. They've complained about that, and that's part of the commentary. That is something that we, by dividing the road into 4 segments, that'll be one segment that we'll focus in on. And we will be looking at that to see, because one of the things that happens is when you're westbound and you realize that you're losing that right turn lane, people do tend to speed up through there to merge left. And they don't necessarily know that they can get through and turn around and come back out. So that creates some unsafe maneuvers. So we'd like to see if we can come up with a better solution for that.
And thank you for coming as well.
Happy to do it.
Thank you, Whit. I have wrote down the comments, so we'll talk later, and I appreciate you coming tonight. Thank you very much.
Okay, and it's good to hear the comments. I really appreciate hearing from everybody. Thank you.
Before we go any further, Joe, you want to come get Mom? I think she's ready to go home. Excuse me, this is my 94-year-old mom. She came out tonight, so it's a little past the time that she normally leaves. With that, if there's anyone, we have 3-minute comments. And if anyone would like to come up at this time to make a comment.
He said, get out of here.
On an item that is not on the agenda tonight.
Throw you out while we can, okay?
Please state your name.
Good night. Good night, everyone.
Thank you. My concern is that we have visitors that bring the folks down here to the city. They rent homes. They are not a quote resident because they are renting a home. But they don't have access to our boat ramp because we can no longer get permits. And the only car that is able to use that boat ramp has got to have a sticker on it. I think there needs to be some kind of temporary permit that these visitors can use our boat ramp that, are renting from our citizens here in the residents in the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to make a comment?
Good evening, my name is Kelly Cicerek. I live at 448 Harbor Drive South. I just wanted to let the Commission and the citizens know that there is a newly formed Pinellas Suncoast Fire and Rescue District Citizen Advisory Task Force, and it's going to have its first meeting here in this room on Tuesday, April 3rd at 9 a.m. They're currently planning on meeting twice per month on the first and third Tuesdays, and that could be subject to change. But I was appointed as an Indian Rocks Beach citizen representative, and the task force is charged with examining the operational efficiencies, the cost savings possibilities, and any new revenue sources that we can identify for the fire district. If you remember their capital plan from last year, they were attempting to replace 2 fire stations and remodel Station 27 down here, and that's all could be subject to change, but we're have a task force put together to try to see what will work the best, utilizing the new chief, of course. The meetings are open to the public, and if anybody would like to attend, there should be a time for citizens to offer public comment. And of course, I would be willing to take any citizen comments from any not speech citizens forward as well. And I believe we also have Matt Loader from Krabby Bill's also on that task force as a business owner representative. So,
Kelly, will they be able to have your email? How will we do that? I mean, will you send that to the city manager?
yeah, sure.
Or
I have a special email that I use for that, and I'll make sure that our city manager gets that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else who would like to make a comment tonight? Okay. From there, we are going to go to the city manager. Or city attorney.
Thank you.
I'll get it right.
It's all new. It's all new. Evening, folks. First and foremost, congratulations to our newly elected mayor, newly elected commissioners, re-elected commissioners alike, to this community as you continue to build and grow. Again, I am the city attorney. For those of you who do not have the joy of coming to these meetings, this is definitely the highlight of the meeting. As far as things that are on our, there is a long list of things that I am working on with your staff, whether it be with the city manager or the clerk, as we look to things that we can improve in the city's codes, ordinances up ahead. First and foremost, I just wish to emphasize that on April 10th, 2018 at 4 p.m. there is a workshop being held in this room about short-term rentals. For those of you who enjoy sending emails or don't enjoy because of the circumstances that lead you to do so about short-term rentals and the issue in a broader sense, please come to that workshop to either have your voice heard or alternatively to get more information on an issue that you're interested in. This body is actively considering a short-term rental ordinance, which my office has assisted in preparing and is presently posted to your website. That is still a dynamic document. That is to say, we are still drafting, revising, taking input, and trying to finesse it while balancing all interests, those being the interests of the community, to regulate the issue, to limit risk as it concerns exposure to litigation, while also adapting to a new economy. With that, that is the issue that is at the forefront. I don't have anything further to add, but I'm happy to answer any questions you folks have about the work I'm doing.
Okay. City manager, do you have any?
I do have several things. Good evening. I want to give an update on projects that we're working on. The Gulf Boulevard undergrounding project, which for the benefit of our new guests or you residents that are here tonight, that's the undergrounding from the city limits line of Indian Shores, just north of the intersection that was referenced to earlier. The gentleman to the left of me has had the pleasure of negotiating or attempting to negotiate 30 easements from 30 different individuals or groups to put transformers. I think we're down to 4. Those are going to be a little tedious, and I may reach out to individual commission members that maybe know some of the property owners to try to help negotiate the final 4. Until we get the final 4, it's a no-go on construction, but we're close, and we keep dwindling down the number of easements that we need. Paving, the curbs on South Harbor Drive are almost complete. 12th is already finished. The asphalt contractor will come in on April the 2nd and begin to do the 3-step process to put the base down on the road. It'll take them 2 weeks to finish both of those roads. You probably noticed that we've begun the rehab of the restroom facilities at Cole Park and the Nature Preserve. That's ongoing. The gateway sign that was installed, the contractor's doing the final aesthetic kind of things on that sign. He'll be finished with his work next week. The 4th Street Boardwalk, which is the boardwalk near Villa Galachi, that's under reconstruction, and that will be complete by April the 20th. Immediately after the Easter egg hunt this weekend in the Nature Preserve, in between the mound areas and the Nature Preserve, we're going to install a sand volleyball court there that'll go in at that location. Randy mentioned one upcoming ordinance. I want to mention a couple others. In May, we will forward to the Planning Commission a new sign ordinance for the city. The sign height, sign, square footage, all that's the same, but it's a whole new sign ordinance because then we talked about this during the budget process. The Supreme Court has made a number of rulings about sign ordinances, and we need to make sure that our ordinance is constitutional. So the Planning Commission will get that in May. I don't know if they can get through the whole document in a meeting. It may take them a couple months. And then it'll come to the commission, and we'll have work sessions with the commission on the draft of the sign ordinance. Also, on May the 8th at 4 o'clock, we'll have a work session with the Planning Commission, with the City Commission on the new plan unit development ordinance. You recall several months ago we talked about that, and it's very unusual, but our current ordinance, you can't do a plan unit development in commercial. This will allow PUDs in commercial and multifamily. So we'll have a work session with the commission on the 8th on that. I've started the initial stages with Dan Carpenter, of course, finance director, on the preparation of the 2018-2019 budget. One of the things that we added was a postcard that went to the home of every registered voter inside the city, asking them to provide input, wish lists, anything they have about the budget, well in advance of me putting pen to paper and working with Dan on the budget. Already getting a lot of good feedback, and I would encourage the public to send us additional comments. We'll also send out another one of these a month or so prior to when the commission actually starts having work sessions and budget. So we're doing additional things to reach out. 4 more things and I'm finished. I want to thank the commission for the recent completion of performance evaluations for the city clerk and I. Speaking for myself, I appreciate all the positive comments in my evaluation, and I'm going to continue to work my tail off and help work with the commission, the public, and the staff to get the good things done here. Congratulations to Nick. Congratulations to Cookie for their elections, and I know we'll continue to work together to do great things. I know he's walked out, but I didn't have a chance earlier. It was a pleasure working with RB. I took him to lunch today, and I told him, I said, I know your phone number, RB, and I'm going to be calling. Because as much as we like to joke and play around, RB does know the history of this town, and he's a huge help with me when I'm trying to figure out the history. And the last comment, and I know you're glad, the last comment I have, and I don't do this very often because she's not here very often, but I want to thank my wife, Michelle, for being here tonight. She and y'all, the commissioners that have been on the commission for a while, people that are friends with us, know how I am. And 24 hours a day, if we're out in the town, I'll go down some side street and she'll say, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm going to look at so-and-so. And it's just a wonderful thing to have a spouse that lets me do my job and supports me. So thank you, Michelle. And I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. Congratulations on your re-election also. I'm trying to hurry. But I'll be happy to answer any questions y'all have about projects or anything else to work on.
Anybody?
Just something real quick. Well, Dean's here because I know you've been working on that with him, and that's like from, say, the middle of Krabby Bills up to Gulf Boulevard, where trying to separate, because I see cars pulling out in the walk lane and the bike lane, like where the dock side is, or whatever they call it, and they're just, because they have to get to Walsingham faster than anything.
Yeah, we've had discussions with FDOT about that, because that's the FDOT right away. And to be frank with you, and they're going to get back with us, there's not a lot of good options there. Unfortunately, the reference that somebody made earlier to Bel Air with the little white devices that people like to run over, particularly in the peak season, that's about the limit of something that you make it do there. But we're going to continue to look at it. With a limited right-of-way, if we had a little more right-of-way, there's some more creative things we could do there. But with a limited right-of-way, there's just not a lot that can be done there. But we'll keep.
The idea of those plastic things, I don't see a problem with that. We'll have to replace them a lot, but people will learn. That's all I have.
Anyone else? Ed, would you like to, Commissioner Hoffman, would you like to hear your comments?
Oh, yes. First of all, I wanted to congratulate our new Mayor Commissioner, Cookie Kennedy. Looking forward to working on your commission. Nick, welcome. Look forward to working with you also, and the two Phils, as always. Otherwise, I really enjoyed the election day camping out 105 feet away from the polling station. I did get sunburned in areas that I realized I don't have hair on anymore. But what was really nice was to spend time with the candidates, the ones who didn't win and the ones who did win. We all had a nice time celebrating democracy and getting to just share some time together. And I would encourage you all on election day to come on out and visit the candidates. It's always better if you come before you vote, but you can also come afterwards and get a cupcake. So anyway, thanks. Look forward to the next 2 years of working with this commission. Thank you.
Commissioner Wardle?
Yeah, first, congratulations at the re-election. Congratulations to you being the first lady mayor of Indian Rocks Beach. Nick, welcome. I look forward to working with both of you again, or still going forward. And Ed, like to say the new sign looks great down coming into town. And that was A2K and the homeowners, correct? Yeah, thank them for taking that cost. It's very nice. The postcards you're sending out, fantastic, fantastic. Please don't stop. Please don't stop. Please send them out. I've heard a lot of comments from neighbors like, hey, we're finally knowing what's going on, even though there were always ways to find out what was going on, but yeah, something in their hand always makes it nice. Congratulations, especially to Kelly on the board. I know that was a long time coming, all the hard work you did getting to that point, and I know you'll serve us very well, and I thank you for your time and all your effort going forward in that. April 10th, the short-term rentals Randy spoke about, that's going to be a very important meeting. I know we're all getting emails from everyone on that, and that'll be a long meeting. Tomorrow at, is it 6 or 6:30 in Indian Shores, they're having a meeting about the sand, on when it's going to start, what's going to happen in the time frame of that. And south of Walsingham, I already talked about. Thank you.
Commissioner Hannah?
Yeah. Or you could just say, well,
Watchman.
Hey, you don't sit here anymore. I have to respect you more than I did before. Congratulations, Madam Mayor. Nick, welcome. Congratulations. Ed, always look forward to working with you again. And Randy, I just want to see if you're awake.
Always.
All right. Anyway, the city is doing well. Very pleased. The addition of Ed to our, I'm sorry, to Nick to our commission, I think is going to be good. And the cards, Phil, is exactly right. We really appreciate those going out, the communications. We're trying to listen. We're trying to do what you're asking us to do. And staying in touch and keeping you informed is critical. We understand that. Your feedback is always welcome, always important. The sign down at the park, the Puckett Park, looks great. It sets the city off, and it's quite a welcoming when you come over the bridge, and there it is. And it looks good at night as well. And Kelly, thank you for stepping up to the fire board. I think that's going to be wonderful. I like that concept. I think that what allows us to do is head problems off early, and we don't let things fester. So that's all I have.
Commissioner Coyle.
I, like Mr. Mims, have to thank my beautiful wife for allowing me to run and helping me all the way through. We have met so many people in the city, and it's been amazing. There's just such great people here that want to help, and great feedback, and people with such a diverse background. It's been awesome hearing from everybody and learning so much. Congratulations to our first female mayor of the city, and thank you for all your mentoring through the process. Thank everybody for everything they've done so far and helping me with all the questions and comments or any concerns I've had. City staff has been wonderful in helping me skill up and learn about all of the different functions there. Deanne putting up with all my email questions on my finance report, so thank you very much. And just looking forward to working with everybody and doing what I can to help.
I want to tell you about Saturday, March 31st, we have the Historical Society potluck luncheon. Deanne, what time is that at? Noon. It's at noon? The weekend of April 7th is the citywide garage sale. You heard our next meeting in April. We will be talking about the vacation rentals, and Phil Warble told you about next week. What's the date of that again for the beach renourishment?
Tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow. Just so that you know that. I believe it's at 7 o'clock. It's in Indian Shores City Hall.
6 or 6:30.
Is it?
Surely, yeah.
You need to find that out in case anyone wants to go. I just want to say thank you. I'm glad the election's over. I appreciate Ed and Nick and the rest of the commission, and also the staff for everything they did through the campaign. I always say that campaigns are an imposition on everybody you love and care about, because it takes everyone's time. But we're here, and I feel really good. We had a really positive, wonderful time, and I'd like you to know that the first Monday of every month, starting April 2nd, from 4 to 7, I will be here in the auditorium having First Monday with the mayor. If you would like to stop by to talk about an issue, I will be here, and I look forward to seeing you. And with that, I'm finished, so we're going to go on to the consent agenda. No, we're going to do additions and deletions. Do we have any additions and deletions tonight? I don't see any. Agenda item number 5, consent agenda. Is there a motion? And you have to read it first.
Before we have any motion, there are 5 items on tonight's consent agenda. Item A, February 13, 2017, regular city commission meeting minutes, approval thereof. Item 5B, approval of the March 8, 2018 special city commission meeting minutes. Item 5C, ratifying action taken at the March 8, 2018 special city commission meeting. Item 5D, approving a resolution number 2018-05, opposing offshore oil drilling and exploration activities. And item 5E, a memorandum of agreement with the Florida Division of Emergency Management concerning Alert Pinellas. These are the 5 items on tonight's consent agenda.
Is there anyone who would like to entertain a motion? Mr. Hannah,
Motion to approve the consent agenda as read.
is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Warble seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. We have no public hearings for agenda item number 6. Agenda item 7 is a resolution. The city attorney reads the resolution.
Just get on there in the material.
At the end.
Resolution, we are on agenda item number 7A, resolution, a resolution to accept the official results of the March 13, 2018 election. One moment.
Okay, here we go. Accept-
I have it.
Oh,
A
okay.
resolution of the City of Indian Rocks Beach, Florida, accepting the official results of the 2018 municipal election for 2 city commission seats held on Tuesday, March 13, 2018, and providing for an effective date. This has been a reading of resolution number 2018-01 by title only.
Is there any questions from the staff about the commission?
These are the official results that supervisor of elections sent the city.
Comments by the public? Okay, I'd like to close the public comments then and enter into a motion.
Motion to approve resolution number 2018-01.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Agenda item number 7B, appointment of a vice mayor commissioner, which is resolution number 2018.
Mayor, before we move on, just for clarity in the record, I think we should have a roll call vote on that, especially on that resolution.
Okay. That's all in favor, but that's what you're voting.
Commissioner Hannah,
Yes.
Commissioner Hoofnagel,
Yes.
Commissioner Palumbo,
Yes.
Commissioner Robel,
Yes.
Mayor Commissioner Kennedy.
Yes,
Thank you. Apologies, Mayor.
no problem. Agenda item number 7B is a resolution 2018-02, appointment of vice mayor commissioner.
Sorry.
It's okay. And Deanne, where are we in the roll call?
The next person would be Commissioner Hufnagel.
Okay. Do we have a motion to make Commissioner Hoffman?
Well, first I'll read resolution number 2018-02. This is a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Indian Rocks Beach, Florida, appointing a member of the City Commission to serve as the Vice Mayor Commissioner and providing for an effective date. This has been a reading of resolution 2018-02 by title only. It's my recommendation that because this is done as a resolution and the resolution has a blank space, that whomever should make the motion for whichever commissioner would fill the blank, that you move to amend and approve the resolution by adding X person's name, and that way it's clean in the record.
Is there, I want to open the public comment. Is there any public comment? We'll close the public comment. Would any of the commissioners like to enter and make a comment, or would they like to make a motion?
I make a motion for resolution 2018-02 to appoint Ed Hufnagel as Vice Mayor Commissioner.
I'll second.
And just for clarity in the record, are you moving to amend 2018-02 to add Commissioner Hufnagel's name?
Yes, I thought I included that, but I guess I didn't.
Is there any discussion on the motion or on the second? Okay, it says all in favor, but would you rather there be a,
Just for clarity in the record on this particular, because it's administrative, I would recommend the vote.
okay, we'll take a vote on that.
Commissioner Hannah?
Yes.
Commissioner Hufnagel?
Yes.
Commissioner Polino?
Yes.
Commissioner Bobel?
Yes.
Mayor Commissioner Kennedy?
Yes, thank you. Move on to agenda item number 7C, resolution 2018-04. Appointing a voting delegate and first and second alternate voting delegates to represent the city at the Berry Islands Governmental Council Big C meetings. The city attorney, would you read the resolution by title?
Yes, Mayor. City of Indian Rocks Beach Resolution Number 2018-04. A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Indian Rocks Beach, Florida, appointing a voting delegate and first and second alternate voting delegates to represent the City of Indian Rocks Beach at the Barrier Islands Governmental Council Big C meetings and providing for an effective date. Again, just for clarity in the process, I suggest that you appoint each role individually rather than try and do this in an omnibus way. So you would go through the voting delegate, first alternate, and second alternate.
Deanne, would you like to introduce the agenda item?
Okay, this agenda item is they're asking for one voting delegate, a first alternate, and a second alternate. Currently, it is Mayor Johnson as the voting member. Commissioner Hufnagel as first alternate, and second alternate was Commissioner Nobel.
So I'm going to open the public comment, both for and against the agenda item, to come forward and speak to it.
Yeah, ordinarily, as a function of process, we would usually have public comment once the motion's been made, so
Okay.
so that there's an item on the table for the public to comment. Understood.
Okay, 3 minutes per commissioner if anyone would like to be recognized.
I mean, normally, since you're the mayor, you're
Yes.
on the Big C,
I
so
would
you're
like
the
to be
first.
at that.
Well, you are, I mean, I thought that's how it was mayors were on the board and.
In most cases, but
Yes.
not always.
Okay.
I would like to be it if you would all like me to be your representative.
I would like to make a motion to have Cookie Kennedy be the voting delegate for Indian Rocks Beach on the Barrier Islands Government Council Big C meetings.
I would like to second that motion.
I'm going to have to go to public comments now. Is there any public comments on this agenda item? We'll close the public comments, and we already have a motion. We have a second. And you want us to call on this instead of all in favor?
All in favor is fine.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we need a first alternate. Is there anyone who would like to be the first alternate to the Big C?
I would be happy to be the first alternate.
Okay. Would anyone like to enter into a motion?
Would like to make a motion for Nick Palumba to be the first alternate voting delegate to represent the city at the Barrier Island Governmental Council Big C meetings.
Is there a second?
Second.
And is there anyone in the public who would like to make a comment on this motion? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing, and then we will take, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Now, we also have to have a second alternate. Is there anyone who would like to be the second alternate?
I think Phil's doing such a great job.
You know, to be honest with you, seriously, I mean, to be honest with you, with my workload, making meetings at that time of the day is very hard for me. I mean, even though it's once a month, I feel I wouldn't be able to.
Well, you did a good job, Phil.
I make the motion that Ed become the second voting delegate for the Big C.
Is there a second?
I second that motion.
Okay. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak on this motion? Okay, I'll close the public hearing, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Agenda item number 8A, we don't have any work sessions. And is there any other business to come before this board tonight? No? Okay. I'm going to adjourn this meeting. I thank you for coming and putting up with my first meeting. I'm going to be a lot.
Motion to adjourn.
And a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.